Are you wondering how you can get the seller to actually accept your offer over other buyers? In this video, I'm going to talk about the ways that you can make your offer more attractive to a seller in a multiple offer situation. So stay tuned. Hey guys, it's Peggy Yee here with Frankly Realtors, and I'm a local real estate agent here in Northern Virginia. And on this channel, I give you the best advice about buying, selling, and living in Northern Virginia. So if you are new here, consider subscribing. So today I'm going to be talking about what it takes to win in a multiple offer situation and in a seller's market. So here in Northern Virginia right now, we've got very low inventory. It is still a very hot seller's market. And some of the tips that I'm going to be giving you today are coming from both a listing agent perspective as well as a buyer agent perspective. And I've been in several multiple offer situations in the last couple days, so I want to give you guys kind of my advice on how to win them. So really there's 4 things I'm going to talk about today. Number 1 is the less contingencies, the better. So the 3 main contingencies that you're going to be looking at for offers are going to be your home inspection, your appraisal, and financing. And we've had cases where even though you're getting a loan, the buyer is submitting offers without a appraisal or financing contingency. So there's pros and cons. If you feel like, hey, you're well qualified, the lender's good to go, you have no issues with getting financing or getting the appraisal, then it may make sense to waive it because that makes your offer like 10 times stronger if you don't have that financing and appraisal contingencies, because most offers will still include it. So that's really one thing to consider. With waiving home inspection, this is something that I think definitely depends on the condition of the property, the type of property. So 1-bedroom condo, you're probably not going to find that many super expensive repairs versus maybe you're offering on like an older single-family home. So really kind of weighing kind of the condition of the house and how comfortable you are in kind of taking on that responsibility of any repairs that you may not know about. So those are the 3 main contingencies. So those are the ones that you want to consider whether or not you feel comfortable waiving them or not. Next, I would consider how high you're willing to go to make the offer price for the property. And this could be just, offering, right straight out, a higher than list price offer, or you could potentially do an escalation where you're telling the seller, hey, I'll pay, let's say $1,000 more than the next person up to a certain amount, but you do have to put in the maximum amount you're willing to pay. So that gets to thinking about what is the best and the maximum price that you personally are willing to pay for a property. So I, as a real estate agent, can tell you, what the market value is based upon the comps, but it's really up to you as a buyer to figure out what's that maximum price you're willing to pay. And it's a very fine line. So what I tell my clients is you want to be at the point where you feel like whatever price you put in, and it doesn't matter to me or to the agent, it's completely up to you and how comfortable you feel for putting an offer price in. But you want to be at the point where you feel that if somebody bought it for a higher amount, you feel like they overpaid, you did not want to pay that, you're happy for them to pay that price. But you also want to be at that point where if you did win it, that you would be happy with paying that price and you feel like you didn't overpay. So it's a very fine line between what that maximum offer price is for you. So that's another thing to consider. The third thing to consider is higher earnest money deposits. So in the past, we've always said that traditionally, earnest money was about 1% of the offer price. So let's say you're offering, $500,000, you would be putting down a $5,000 earnest money deposit. So that's pretty standard, but what would set your offer apart is if you did put in more earnest money deposit. And how much more is up to you. I would recommend, let's say on a $5,000, $500,000 property, instead of $5,000, maybe you do $7,000 or $10,000. Or if it's really hot, maybe you do $15,000. And that really just solidifies to the seller that, one, you're serious about the property. Two, you have really good financing, that you're willing to, put that money at the title company right away. And that just makes your offer stand out a little bit more. And so the last thing that will really make your offer stand out is to simply ask the listing agent if there's anything in particular that will make your offer stand out. So this includes things like what would be the seller's ideal closing date. So for example, if a property is vacant, then maybe the seller wants to close as soon as possible. But if it's still occupied and the seller has to coordinate their move, then they may actually have a very specific date that they want to close on. And so we have a situation right now where our buyer wants to close a lot earlier and can close a lot earlier, but that doesn't work for the seller's timeline. And so we're actually closing later than what the buyers would like to close. And so you want to simply ask the listing agent, is there anything that we should know to include in our offer that would make it more attractive to the seller? And so then you can kind of work out some of those details and really craft the best offer for that seller. So I hope those tips are helpful for you guys in winning multiple offer situations. If you guys have any questions about, buying multiple offer situations, whether or not removing contingencies will be okay for you, feel free to reach out to me anytime, and I would love to help. I'll talk to you guys soon. Thanks.